Good day everyone, my name is Midter and this time we are going to talk about the 8 attributes of learning. But before that, we are going to have first a question and answer. So tell me, are you ready? Very good. Now my first question is, why do we go to school? To achieve our dreams? And what are we going to do to achieve our dreams? To study hard? What will we get if we keep on studying hard? We can earn merits. And if we earn some merits, what do we have? Knowledge. And what are we going to do that knowledge? Of course, we have to put that into application, and that is what we call as learning. Therefore, learning is the application of knowledge. It changes our behavior, point of views, and give us skills that we can use in our daily lives. And for that matter, we're going to talk about the 8 attributes of learning. So, are you all ready? Very good. For the first attribute is learning is a progressive changes in behavior, which means our behavior may change if we learn something. Just like, for example, you are reading an educational book, and from that book you earn knowledge from it, right? And if that knowledge you are going to put that into action and you are convinced by its output, you are going to make it as a practice in your daily lives, and from that practice will leads you to into habits, and that habits will change your behavior, change your perspective in life, or change your perspective into that certain thing. From the behavior that you have before may change to the behavior that you are wanting to have, or to the better one if you let yourself engage into that process and you keep on learning from every situation towards your goals. A continuous process of changing yourself, evolving yourself from good to a better one. So that is a progressive changes in behavior. Now for the second attributes that we are going to tackle about is move and move to learn. So this symbolizes that if you keep on hiding into your safe place, you will never learn. The learning will become stagnant. You have to step up from that hidden place of yours or to that safe place so that you can earn a new learnings. You have to engage into the new environment to make your learning continuous. You have to keep on moving if you wanted to learn. You may perform different things even if you're not certain from it, as long as it is not fatal, gives you enjoyment, and probably gives you an experience which will give you a lot of lesson on the process of performing it. As what Boy Abunda said, unless you won't step out from that safe place, you will never learn. Now for the third attribute that we have is learning motivates human being. Always remember that no matter how hard the situation are you in right now, there is always a learning which will push you towards your goals. And how would that be? From the circumstances in life that you are facing from your previous life, you can earn knowledge from it, right? And from that knowledge, you can use that as a weapon or an answer if that certain problem may come again, or use that as a stepping stone for the difficult one. Always remember that to achieve your goals, you must have to keep motivated through learning each circumstances in life and keep on thinking positive or being optimistic. Now for the other attributes of learning, it is unitary. So when we talk about unitary, it is the unity of the learnings that the person should have acquired and initiate towards a certain situation. So as we all know, we have to develop our holistic aspects, especially in terms of intellectual, emotional, spiritual, and most especially our physical. With those aspects together with our skills, we can perform our task properly, or we can react to a certain situation properly. Therefore, learning is unitary. Now for the next attribute that we have is learning is individual. Humans are born together with its differences. That's why from our attributes towards our interaction with each others and the environment differ. There are moments that we learn the same thing with the same process. However, at some point, there are also times that we learn the same thing in different concept. Or we have our own ways to learn the same thing. Just like for example, some people needed to experience that certain phenomena in order for them to learn or to get the ideas. However, some people may learn from the experience of the other people itself. That is why one of the greatest challenge of being a teacher is to teach his students with their diverse needs. Especially in this moment, since the Department of Education offer an inclusive learning, the teacher must have to craft a teaching strategy which will cater the needs of his or her students. Now for the 6 attributes that we are going to discuss is learning is social. This refers to the learnings that we get from interacting with other people or to our surroundings. It refers to the knowledge that we have gathered, or simply it refers to the knowledge that we acquire through socialization. And if that happens, social maturity takes place and give us more ideas for the proper ways of interacting with them, or made us more ethical in our decisions. Now for the next attribute that we have is learning is purposive. All of us has a purpose in life, and that purpose set as our goals that we wanted to achieve as we grow old. And for us to achieve all of those goals, we have to acquire a specific knowledge that we needed to perform and to have to survive on the process of fulfilling it. Just like for example, if you're aiming to graduate in college, you may acquire all of the specific skills and knowledge that is needed for you to pass that kind of education. However, if you are aiming to graduate with flying colors in college, you are willing or going to perform all of the best performance just to meet the expectation of your teachers or your instructors for you to achieve or to have a greater grades to achieve the merits that you are aiming to have. You must have to excel if you are aiming to have merits after you graduate. You must have to prove to them that you are competent enough and you are deserving for that. So learning depends on your purpose. And for the 8 attributes that we needed to learn is the learning is an active process. This talks about that learners should engage into the learning materials and to the learning environment. They have to follow the learning process in order for them to learn on their own. And from that diverse learning, and after that, a collection of ideas be involved, and which may create a greater knowledge or a wider knowledge. Also, an authenticity of learning, a collaboration of performing the tasks. Always remember that learners are not like the sponge, which once we soak on the water of learning, they can easily absorb all of those learnings that they needed to absorb. That's why they need to engage themselves into that certain process so that they can experience from that and they can learn on their own, which may retain longer than memorizing the process without doing it. So those are some of the things that we have to learn on the learning attributes. First is the move to learn. Progressive changes in behavior motivates human, unitary, individual, social, active process, and purposeful.